Near the end of last year, we spent a weekend in Condé-en-Brie with a group of friends. Condé is a village in the Champagne region. Condé is known for its castle, which originated in the Middle Ages and had some illustrious owners such as the Bourbon-Vendôme family and the de Sade family, etc. We didn't bother with a visit of the interior, as it's not tightly connected with Charles the Bold. The first day of our stay in Condé, we did a stroll around the village, but we had to hurry back to the gîte because of the incessant rain. There are not a lot of activities not connected with wine tasting and buying in that area, so the entertainment options were a bit limited because of the weather. Before we arrived in the Champagne, we had made plans to visit Château-Thierry, which has more Burgundian connections and which was only about 13 kilometers away, but the weather was not helping for sure. On Sunday, the skies looked a bit better, with stress on a bit. Château-Thierry has a very rich history, but in this video I'm going to concentrate mostly on the 15th century and the Burgundians with just a few side steps. We parked near the river Marne and crossed the bridge into town. One of the first medieval monuments we came across was the Tour Balhan. The tower looks very impressive, but it's all that remains of the Fort Saint-Jacques, which was maybe the manor of a lord or a defensive structure. The tower contains a stairwell, and there is supposedly also a chapel connected to it, but this tower is not open to the public. I think it may have been rebuilt at some point, I'm not quite sure. We continued on towards the square with the town hall, which is conveniently named Square of the Town Hall. The town hall is quite impressive, but we were here for what lies behind it, the ruins of the castle. We climbed the stairs on the right to the town hall and up on the Chemin de Ronde. The site of the castle is large, 2.6 hectares. There probably was already castrum here in the 4th century. The origins of the name Château-Thierry are not clear. The fortress was built in the 9th century by the Counts of Vermandois. In the 12th and 13th century, it was altered by the Counts of Champagne. In 1285, the county of Champagne, including Château-Thierry and its castle, entered the royal domain through the marriage of Joan of Navarre and Philip IV, aka Le Bel, not a particularly pleasant man, infamous for having destroyed the Templars, among other facts. Philippe le Bel undertook many restoration or building works on his castles and fortresses. For Château-Thierry, these works included the Saint-Jean Gate, which we will encounter later in the video. The south side of the castle got a wall flanked by towers. Château-Thierry then went from hand to hand until the King of France, Louis XI, gave it to Anthony of Burgundy in 1478, after the death of Anthony's half-brother, Duke of Burgundy, Charles the Bold. Anthony received a few other domains, but those are not relevant here. Anthony had some work done on the castle. First of all, a dry ditch was created in the middle of the esplanade. A double bridge, including a drawbridge, enabled the crossing of this ditch. On the north, 2 casemates were added which defended the bottom of the ditch. Other works were done, including the installation of an artillery platform on the old donjon and stock rooms for ammunition and powder. Also, the collector of grey water was fortified. In 1544, the town was captured and pillaged by the troops of Emperor Charles V, great-grandson of Charles the Bold. Later the castle became a residential palace. At the end of the 18th century, a large part of it was destroyed and used as a quarry. In 1814, it got its military function back and was used as a citadel for Napoleon's troops. Now it has become a park. The Bouillon Tower was originally a circular defensive tower, but got an odd shape because of several transformations over the centuries. Due to the addition of a fausse in the 14th century, a wooden stairwell was added to connect the two levels. A wall was erected in front of it to hide the passageway. Later, a square tower was added. In the 16th century, the towers are incorporated in the lower level of the Gallery of the Princes. The Red Tower is rectangular and used to contain something very interesting, a monumental tower door created in the 13th century. This door provided a connection between the castle and the town. Behind the door was a covered ramp which allowed chariots to go up or down. In 1406 the Lord's dwelling was enlarged and the passageway was removed. It was replaced by a spiral staircase in a tower next to it. There is a network of cellars and underground passages, but these were not accessible during our visit. In these cellars there are a number of wells, about 3 in all, but not all of them have been discovered yet. Next we arrive at the 13th century treasure tower. In castles you would find upper rooms, often the tower, where important documents, charters and such were stored. I suppose this is such a tower, though it's odd it's part of the defensive wall. Anyway, it consisted of several levels. An oculus provided access to the highest level.
From here, here is the store.
The Thibault Tower is the oldest part of the castle. The pale yellow part already existed in the 10th century. In the 12th century it was enlarged and became a donjon of about 25 to 30 meters high. Then around 1500 it was flattened to become an artillery platform. Around the same time a dry ditch was created which separated the inner bailey and the outer bailey. A bridge provided access to both parts. It led to a monumental gate which was built against the Thibault Tower. The gatehouse was demolished in 1835. Only the supports of the drawbridge and the wall of the ditch remain. The Saint-Jean Gate became the main entrance of the castle. Ja. There are some rooms inside, but these are not accessible. Quite close, a bit to the east, is the Porte Saint-Pierre, one of the town's medieval gates. It's through this gate that Joan of Arc passed into the city with the royal army in 1429, after the coronation of Charles VII. Of course, I had to go through this gate a few times. The pouring rain couldn't deter me. As a side note, Charles the Bold came to Château-Thierry in August 1461, just a few days after the coronation of Louis XI, the son of Charles VII, whom Louis hated. Both coronations had happened in Reims, as tradition dictates, about 60 kilometers to the northeast from Château-Thierry. I wonder if Charles the Bold also passed through this gate. I haven't found details about where precisely he stayed, in somebody's home or in a castle, I have no idea. Next to the gate is a botanical garden, quite pretty and peaceful, if it weren't for the dead pigeon.
Zon.
There are more walls a bit to the south, but I didn't film these. It's just walls with bits of tower, you know the thing by now. Walking along the walls, we ended up near the house where Jean de La Fontaine was born, the 17th century poet famous for his fables. More interestingly to me was the adjacent building. This was formerly a convent that was founded by Anthony of Burgundy in 1492.